Mesechta Zevachim Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph. We're starting from the third line from the top. Elamiyata. So the Gemara is now. Yesterday we learned out, according to Beis Hillel, from where do we know that you only need one matana al hamizbeach? Because the words, because it says karnas, and karnois. Karnas twice karnas. The way it's written with lashon yachid, so you have two. Then you have karnas plural. With above. So, but then we finished off saying that Beis Hillel goes according to both. Yeshem la Mercedes, Yeshem la Mikra. Yeshem la Mercedes is that we say, look on the way it's written. We say, go according to the way it's read. So you have to make a pshara in between. If you do all according to the way it's read, you have six. Kanois is plural. Two is six. Oh, according to the Yeshem la Mercedes, it's four. So you make a pshara between 6 and 4, it's 5. So you have one extra to tell us that only one is going to hold back. In fact, according to your svara, how Beis Hillel holds, he holds them both, and he makes a pshara in between. So it says, V'toma shvu ayim, it says, V'negeya to a yeledes, a woman who gives birth to a nekeva, she becomes tameh for 2 weeks. And the word shvu ayim is written without a vav. Okay, which could be read when you read it shivim. You can read it shivim. It's written shivim, but we read it shvuayim. So when it's written shivim, so it's 70. So hani kaveh hani matzedes. You have both. You have Beis Hillel goes according to both. So according to the reading, you have 14 shvuayim, and according to the matzedes, you have 70. So between 70 and 14 deduct, and you're going to make a pshara in between. Between 14 minus 70 is 56.
56 and 70, okay.
So, and you have to divide it because he wants to be Simon Sad Masayda, Simon Sad Cross. So you have 28. So you have 28 plus 14. So l'cheira aboynu treim boyu l'meisov. She should have to sit 42 days instead of 2 weeks. Says you want to shine in the house. There it's different. Why doesn't she sit 42 days? Bituma. Why do we say it's only 2 weeks? Because the chsib kini dasa. It has to be like Anida. What is more similar to Anida? 2 weeks versus Anida is 1 week. But if you're going 70 days, you're going according to days. It's not even according to weeks. And it's so much further away. So since the pasuk gives us a limud with the word kinidasa, it shows us it has to be similar to kinidasa, and therefore it's yeshem la mikra only that we read it shvuayim. It's only 2 weeks. But the Tana of the Braisa brings a makar to the Shita Beis Hillel from here. That from where do we know that only one matana was placed on the Mizbeach? Because it says v'chipa alav hakayim, v'chipa alav hakayim, v'chipa alav hakayim. It says 3 times v'chipa. So each v'chipa comes to deduct that not 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. So that only 1 is needed. Zog the Gemara mipnei adin, because 1 second. So I said v'chipa alav to teach us that even if the kohen misses 3 of the matanis, and he only had 1 matani, it's going to be good. Mipnei adin, because there was why do we need a limud? Because we could have learned out what a binyan av from the chatas hapnimis, that just like the chatas hapnimis needs dafke 4 or chatois from chatas, just like chatas needs dafke 4 matanis. So I would have said all the kabbanis also need 4 matanis. So he's come to teach us, no, 1 matan is good. Even without the repetition of v'chipa, nemru dam lamata, nemru dam lamayla. In the Torah it says the blood of the kabbanis. Oh, so there were the blood that they sprayed on top of the red line that went around the mizbeach, and there's the damim that they sprayed on the bottom. Ma matan domin hamur lamata, just like the matan domin, which was the elu shlomim ba'osham, that they sprayed the blood on the bottom. That those bloods was shenesanim b'matanachas There we said one matana was enough. Keeper, he was mechuper, he was forgiven. Avdomim hamur l'mayla. So too, the domim that was used for pahalam davar. So even for it's one. I'm gonna tell you. So too, matana keeper. That with one matana would be a good kapara. Says you want to maybe no. Maybe we should turn to this side and say. Nemru dam bifnim. It says about the blood, about the mizbeach hapnimi. Nemru damim bachutz, and it speaks about the blood in the chitze. He wants to compare the damim of the mizbeach of chitzeni to the pnimi. Ma damim amur bifnim, just like the chatois hapnimius. Chisa achas min hamatonis lo yasvul leklum. If he missed one, had to be four. And if he's missed one, it's not going to be a kapara. I would say also the blood on the mizbeich hachitza in chisach min hamatonis lo yasvul leklum. I'll say that he wasn't yetzer whatsoever. So the Gemara says we have to see which one should we compare it to. Should we compare it the dam l'mayla to the dam l'mata, or should we compare the damim of the mizbeich hachitza to the mizbeich hapnimi? Says Gemara danin bachutz mebechutz. He says it makes more sense to compare blood of one mizbeach of the same mizbeach, not to the mizbeach hapnimi. The chud mizbeach hachitzain from one blood that one lamayla to lamata of one mizbeach. Ve'ein danin bechutz mebefnim. But it doesn't make sense to compare one mizbeach to a whole different mizbeach that was in the heichal. Says you want to know? Maybe if I can't, klach derazu. Don't chatis v'abal kronis, mechatis v'abal kronis. So he says, don't chatis v'abal kronis from mechatis v'abal kronis. He says, it's a chatas. Look at the carbon. Don't look at the mizbeach. The chatas from the chatas in the pnimi was 4. So we should say the chatas of the chitzeni is 4. You are comparing the blood lamaila, which is a chatas, to the oila asham ushlamim. Of the chitzeni. In the chitzeni, you're comparing one carbon to different carbones. So that's how you want to say one matana is good. You're right, they're both on the mizbeach hachitzeni, but you're comparing one carbon to a different carbon. That's why he says maybe it makes more sense to compare chatas hachitzeni to the chatas hapnimi. So maybe, so he says and don't prove from chutz that a chatas doesn't need all 4 fakets. We should say maybe it does need all 4. That's why we had the chippah. That's why we needed the 3 times the chippah. The first chippah, the first chippah comes to teach us even if he only had 3 matanes. The chippah and the second chippah is second chippah is come to tell us even if there was only 2 matanis. The chippah shlishi is alpha b'shloi nasna achas, and the third chippah is come to tell us even the one matana. So according to this shita, from where do we learn out one matana was enough? From the chippah 3 times the chippah, not from karnes.
Who is saying that?
Who says this? The Gemara said, but we can bring it from another place. Okay. Sagt die Gemara, lately goofy. But these psukim of v'chipa, we need it for its own carbon. These are needed for the atzmayin, that each one of these different chatois forgives at that chatas that he brought it lishma for that chatas. That's why it says v'chipa. It's not talking about the same carbon, same sin that you're bringing a carbon for. He's talking about 3 different sins. That's why you needed to say v'chipa 3 times. Amarava, Barada Bamari Asbrali, Barada Mari, explain me the Indian. The Amakra, it says in each one of these psukim v'chipa Allah v'akain, and it also says v'nislach. What do you need v'chipa and v'nislach? Zuhi kapara, zuhi slicha. Why do you have to? If it says v'chipa, what's not to talk about nislach loy? V'chipa and nislach loy is the same thing. What do you do? It's a double lashon. It says the Gemara, Ema and I. Maybe we could say a dash of psukim in a whole different way. The chippah, the first chippah is going to tell us, afal pish leinas nala shalish lemayla be'achas lemata. The first chippah is going to tell us that even if he did, let's say it was a chatas, right? We're talking about chatas. Officially, you need 4 lamaila. He's come to the Chipa is going to tell you need 4 matanis, but 3 lamaila, and he did 1 lamata. It's going to be fine.
As long as it's 4 altogether.
As long as 4 altogether, correct. The second mechipa is afa pisha leit nasan. Even though he didn't put most of the matanis lamaila mechut ela shtayim lamata or shtayim lamaila. Let's say he only did 2 lamaila for the chatas and 2 lamata. It's still going to be good. The chipa and the third chipa, afa pisha leit nasan lamaila ela lamata. Even if he took all the chatas and put it on lamata, all the matanis and lamata, it's also going to be good. As long as you have the 4 matanis, like you said before. Now, how did he jump from 2 to 0? That's what Tesis is. So Rashi, if you look in the Agor, he brings down the Rashi, and that Rashi says really he means 3. 3, if 1 lamaila and 3 on the bottom. But since Roiv of the Matanis is lamata, so if Roiv is allowed to be lamata, then you can have all lamata. That's why is a nish mechalik. He's not going to be mechalik if it's Roiv or all of them. Look, Rav Yitzchak said, "Im kain bitalta teres kranis." We know that Torah says you should put on each keren 4 different places, and now you're saying that you can put it lamata michut hasika, all of them on the bottom. Zok the Gemara ve'irach mana amar. But if the Torah Taka said the chipah 3 times, the battle Taka is being mevatel. You don't have to put it on the kranis, but it's just there. The Torah says put it on the kranis. That lechatchila it's a mitzvah to put it on the cross. But if not, it's good. Which inyan do we need only 3 psukim? So you're saying that it's coming 3 psukim to tell you that you have to put these on the 3 corners. That to tell you that even 1 keren is going to be enough. If you're telling me, like you said, the bottom line, you need 4 kranis. 4 matanis. So if the bottom line is you need 4 matanis, then you should have 4 bechipa. The 4 bechipas should tell you that each one doesn't have to be on the kranis, it can be on the bottom of the sikha of the matanis. But now that it says only 3 times a chipa, so it's obvious he's telling us that 1 is enough, because he's come to tell you you don't need all 4 matanis, 1 matan is enough. Because if the chiddush was that you need 4, but it doesn't have to be the 4 on the top, the 4 can be on the bottom, you should need 4 v'chipas to tell you that. So from this that it says 3 v'chipas is that either limud is that only 1 matan is going to be enough. So you want to ema v'chipa afal pish and asnela achas lamada v'shal shlamata. No, maybe I can learn a different shot. He means there's 3 v'chipas, that 3 of them can be lamata and 1 can be lamaila. We don't find any carbon that they take the blood half on the top and half on the bottom. We never saw such a thing. He says even half, but even half we don't find it. Says we don't find it. We find the befeidish. You remember? So you have achas l'mayla v'sheva l'mata. So what are you saying you don't find? You find by the mizbeich hapnimi that they threw towards the pareichas 1 lamaila and sheva lamata. So what are you saying? Says the man, it's nicht kein von dort. And dort is kimatzlif. It was like malchus, meaning my kimatzlif. Machne Rav Yehuda kim nag like when they give malchus, you can't give malchus in the same place. You can kill him, so you have to give him in different places. So here also, don't hit him in one place the whole time. So he says here when they threw the blood, right? He says. They're throwing the blood. They didn't throw higher above the kapedas and 1 on the bottom of the kapedas. They threw the same height, but it went on the floor. What they wanted, it should be like a row of blood. It didn't even hit the parechas. They threw it towards the parechas, but it's the way they threw it. Either they threw it this way or they threw it this way. To throw it far, you throw it bottom up with the hand this way. Well, you want it not so far, like so. He made the first ones. He made a little. He used the hand this way, so the blood was right next to Prechas here. They would make in 1 shudder. Then they would make a little bit closer, and then the closest one they would throw down here. So you have 1 stain of blood here, 2, 3, but towards the same direction. Not 1 higher and 1 lower. It was the same thing. It was all in the same level. He's says the Gemara. He's God. Well, we don't find that. He's al tahar Hashem mizbeach. It says that they threw on the mizbeach Al tahare, it does use the lashon tahare 7 times. My love, apag the mizbeach. Kidamin sheitar tihara the yoma. The lashon from mentioned toha tihara the yoma means the mitten tog. Here he uses for the mizbeach by the spraying of the mizbeach. Where did they spray it? Al tahare shel mizbeach. Tahare means a mitten the mizbeach. Could somebody mamish reach the middle every time? It's not 100%. Some goes up, some goes down. So you see, when they sprayed the blood and they had to reach the middle, it was for sure someone up, above, and someone down.
So it wasn't exactly the right.
So you didn't have Lamaila Lamata. You're saying it was not Shaykh, that some of the blood went Lamaila and some Lamata. You see the Fadish. They had to try to hit the pinpoint, the bullseye in the middle, but never would they get always the 7 sprays.
There was a line over there.
There was a line, but they wouldn't hit the line. If they sprayed it, some of it went above. Yeah, it wasn't like a bow and arrow and yeah, you don't see exactly like that. They threw it with the hands. Some went above and some went on bottom. What does it mean? Tiaroi. Tiaroi means the mitten talk. Tiaroi means clear. The skies are clear. There's no clouds. It's cleared. No clouds. When it says the mizbeach, the lashon al tarei shel mizbeach, it doesn't mean on the wall of the mizbeach where the chut hasikri is mamish. It means on the top of the mizbeach after they moved away the ashes and the coals and the wood. That's where in the empty space. That's where you spray the blood. So, we know there's a mitzvah. After you spray the blood, what do you do with the rest of the blood? You put it by the foundation of the mizbeach, on the bottom of the mizbeach. So there was blood l'mayla and blood l'mata. What are you saying that? So if you don't pour the shiraim of the dam, it doesn't hold back the kapara. The kapara is a kapara. Shiraim, you put it in taka into the yisod. Oh, but says nishma akiv the carbon. You want a chuppah. It's kosher still. In fact, what about shiraim apnimiyim? We know, but it came to the Pnimis HaMizbech and they sprayed the blood. The rest of the blood they would have to take out from the Heichel, from the Mizbech HaPnimi, go out to the Mizbech HaChitzen, and pour out the rest of the blood by the foundation of the Mizbech HaChitzen. So you see, the Mizbech HaPnimi they threw towards the height of the Kapiris. When they took out the rest of the blood, they went to the Mizbech HaChitzen, they poured it on the bottom of the Mizbech. So you see on the top and the bottom. There's a mandam that says if he doesn't take the leftover blood from what he sprayed in the Mizbech HaPnimi and he doesn't pour it out by Mizbech HaChitzoni in the Yisod, it's ma'akiv. We're talking about Lamayla Lamata on the same place in one Mizbech, nicht zwei Mizbechis, one in the Mizbech HaPnimi, he does Azika, and then the Shiraim is in the Mizbech HaChitzon. It's only about one place. So the Gemara Tanya, when you learn Rabbi Yaakov, there are 2 matonis by the dam of the chatas. Achas shebekol hasvach matiris. But by the regular kabbanis, 1. Only by the chatas that was l'mayla mechut hasikra. Anything under the chut hasikra, like we said before, the oila, the shlamim, those kabbanis, that was l'mat mechut hasikra, 1 was enough. So you Kol hasvachim matiros umefaglis. He says after the first zrika, if he had a machshavas pigel, the machshavas pigel doesn't it doesn't take place. So that's only if
the way you did it has nothing to do with pigel.
If he would have sprayed one matana, and then he would have had the mind of pigel by the second matana. It's not going to be pigel because there was a kapara already from the first matana. If by the other kabbanis where you needed 2 matanas and he did it after the first matana, it will not be pigel. I mean, it would be pigel. It would be pigel. He says, side by the chatos, and side by the Zevachim, you only needed 1 matana. And if he gave that first matana, and he had in mind a mashav shel pigel, then it becomes pigel. Okay? Only if he did it by the first matana. But if he did it after the first matana, it won't be pigul. It won't become pigul if he gave a matana because the kapara happened. We know there's a Mishnah that tells us most of the time Beis Shammai is lechumah and Beis Hillel is lekula. There are exceptions where Beis Shammai is lekula. He's asking, why didn't you add this kula? Because according to Beis Shammai, there's a kula if he had in mind after the second, only after the first matana, then it wouldn't become after the first matana. 1 second. After the first matana, what he said? Oh, 1 second. Beis says, "Mefagel gam lechatz afim loy pigul matana neisafes." He says that the pigul happens already by the first matana. According to Beis Shammai, the pigul does not happen by the first matana.
Only by the second?
Only by the second matana, because Beis Shammai says which matana is mata de behema. Beis Shammai says the second matana. So if he had machshavas pigul by the first matana, according to Beis Hillel, it would be pigul. According to Beis Shammai, it would not be pigul. Beis Shammai is mekel because Beis Shammai says it wouldn't become pigul and pigul achatzayin. You have to have the whole. There has to be the matana that's mater. If the first matana according to Beis Hillel is fully mater, and if he has a machshavas pigul on the first matana, then it's no good. But according to Beis Shammai, if it's only on the first matana, it didn't become mutter yet to carve with one matana. You need two, so it's pigul lachatzoyim. They ain't pigul lachatzoyim, so it wouldn't make it possible. So it's a kula Beis Shammai. When they asked the Shai on the Beis Hamedrash that they about this machlekes of Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, they were talking about to be matter the food, to be matter the emurim on the mizbeach, or to be matter the food for the kahanim to eat it, or if it's a shlamim for the balabatim to eat it. So then it's according to Beis Shammai is machmir. He says nachei matana. If there was only one matana, it didn't become hutar. Only according to Beis Hillel. So according to Beis Shammai, it's still a chumrah. You have to know what the question was when they spoke about this machlekes. If you'd ask him mitzad pigul, if it doesn't become pigul by the first matana, you're right. Beis Shammai is lekula. It didn't become pigul. Well, the shiloh wasn't in the gate to pigul. If you'll be able to eat it, the shiloh was. So if it's in the gate to eating it, Beis Shammai is lechumrah. One matana didn't do the job. So is Michael. One matana did the job. You could eat it. Okay. Beis Shammai lechumrah. Then he says again, ki itzu. When this shiloh was asked in the Beis Medrash, lehatei itzu, it was asked in the gate to the heter of the emuri hakarbon to be able to be makavit, or the basa to be able to eat it. So according to Beis Hillel, nachei matana shemuti yivan lachila, and Beis Shammai would be lechumrah. Valazak madaf noch ein matana. You still need another matana. Sholosh matana shebachatois. The three matanis, the last matana shebachatois. There are 4 matanis, right? So the other 3 are not ma'akiv, because according to Beis Hillel, which one did the job? The first matana. The 3 are not so special. He says, no, don't think they're not special. Einan bois balayla. He says it's also to place it on the mizbeach by night, because the dam becomes puzzle for zrika once the sun goes down. Ubois lacha misa, and ubois lacha misa means here he brought down. If the balabas dies. After the shechita, the chatas becomes puzzle. But Rabbi Yechon is coming to teach us if the Bailam died after the first matana, he still has to put the rest of the matanas on the mizbeach. So bois lachamisa, you have to place the rest of.
What has to do with the balabais?
Because once if the
the carbon, you have to do it 4 times. So that's
No,
it.
no, if the Balabayas brought a carbon, right? And he dies immediately after the Shechita, before they start the Matanes, so the Chatas is puzzle, and you're not allowed to place the blood on the Mizbeach. It's Shenasa. Aber als schon gespritzt eine Matana Leute Beis Hillel, he says, oh, he did one Matana. So,
Even though you die, you could eat it.
even though he dies right after the first Matana, the other 3 could still spray. He's not talking about eating. He's talking about spraying if he could still spray. Because Bechal, if he died before the first Matana, you wouldn't be able to spray at all. But if he died after the first Matana, you could still spray. Sagt die Gemara weiter, Bahamayla mehem bachutz chayev. Bachutz means that somebody places the Matana of the Mizbeach outside the Beis Hamikdash, right? Lamashal, he brought a chutz la'azara, the chiyuv is kares, or the chiyuv zachatas b'shegeg. So since it's a roy to place on the Mizbeach, he says that the halacha is if he brought it outside the Beis Hamikdash into the Hazara, then he would be chayiv.
After the shechita, he went to spray the blood.
After the shechita, he sprayed one spray. That's the main spray. Inside, he did the right thing.
And
Then he started to play chulin with his blood. He went outside the Beis Hamikdash. So if he took it outside, it is a chiv of kares, or b'shegi, he has to bring a chatos. If he takes that blood that's supposed to go on the mizbeach hachitzin outside the Beis Hamikdash, so he thought he's going to get away with it. He said, "I already sprayed one matana. That's the main thing. So I took out the blood outside." No, you took the blood outside. You chayiv chatos. If it's b'shegi or if it's b'mezi, you chayiv kares. Our Papa said, "Yesh mehem kit chilasei." That there's a chelik of these 3 matanas that has a din that's ma'kevis, it's severe like the first matana. The yesh mehem kiseife, and then there's a chelik of these halachas that have a din like the end. And now he starts legabe 8 following things. He says chutz. We spoke about taking the blood outside the Beis Hamikdash. The laila. Keeping the blood, if you're not allowed to place the blood on the mizbeach by night. Zarus is that is the chelik. I'm sorry. Since the zik is a chelik of the aveda, so a zar who places on the mizbeach is chay misa b'dei shamayim ubi kli shares. You have to place the blood through a kli shares. That's the zar. Yeah, that's the zar part. Because it's only that's part of the Aveda of a Kohen. The Zik is Dami. The Zaris is also. He says, if a Zar, Yisrael does it, he's Chai Misbedei Shemayim. Kli Shares, that the Mizbeach, the way the blood was brought to the Mizbeach and sprayed on the Mizbeach was through a Kli Shares. And it has to be Dafka Kli Shares. Keren, you have to put it on the corners, on the Kanes HaMizbeach. Or above the Chut HaSikra. But you cannot put it on the ramp. The ramp is a separate chelik than the Mizbeach. Be'etzba, he says the finger, even these 3 matanes, that he would smear it with his finger onto the Mizbeach. Take from the Kli Sharis, put in his finger, and then wipe it on the Mizbeach. Kibus, that if the Dam HaChata sprayed on the baguette before he put the last 3 matanes, on his baguette, it says you have to do the avodah rain, but it has to be clean. But this last 3 is nishtazei chashuv, the last 3 matanes. Oh, so I'll say he doesn't have to wash his clothes. No, he has to kibus. I must wash the clay there. Change. Oh, yeah, b'shirayim. Shirayim, after he places the matanos on the mizbeach and there's left over, let's say it's 4 different. Yeah, that again washing. Hey, but 1 pair, he's got to go wash, take off his shirt and wash it. Put it in the dryer, or he wants to go wet. Okay, that's different. But now he says, Vishirayim. What does it mean, Vishirayim? If each matana, he had a different keli, and he sprays 1 matana, the Shirayim has to go on by the Yisod. What about the other 3 kelim, which is the other 3 matanes, which is not mat the carbon? It's only the first one. It says it has to be, all the Shirayim has to go into the bottom of the Zveach. Misa we had before, that if the Balachatas died after he placed the first dam, Yeah, we said it before. He has to put the other 3 on the mizbeach. Lo yishaya, it's not matir, meaning these 3 last matanis are not matir. The basa b'achilo, the muria of the carbon to burn, because the first one did the job. V'lo ayla legavoi, and the dam that's oimen the matanis, right? Which word? I missed loy mefalga. The loy mefalga doesn't. It's not mefalga the carbon. If the kohen had a machshavas pickle by the second matana, it's not pickle. It's a pickle. It's not pickle. It's not mefagel the carbon. It's not possible to the carbon. Okay. Loy ayla legavoy means every chatos has to be brought to the oil meir to be mechap ba'kedesh. It says leisa achel b'eish tisarah. But if he brings the dam of the chatos achitzena into the heichal, meaning to spray the blood in the pnim, the chatas becomes nefseles. If you took the first blood that has to be sprayed, the first matana, and you sprayed it in the mizbeach hapnimi where it had to be sprayed on the mizbeach hachitzayin, the whole carbon becomes possible. But he says, but the other 3, la'ayla gavoy, you shouldn't bring it in, and but it doesn't. I don't think it's possible to come in. But if the first matana was given already on the mizbeach hachitzain, and then he brought in the dam, the meaning of the 3 other matanas, then the chatas is kosher. Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. Omer Apapa Dizak. Menah Amina. From where do I learn out these things? As you want to we learned the Mishnah. You need taz. If it gespritz the dam shel chatas min atzavar from the neck of the behema, why are you shechting it the blood? You must spritz it from the garden or on the beggar. Ain't toin kibbutz. It doesn't need kibbutz, but min akeren. But what's if he was going to the corner of the mizbeach by the matana of blood? He had to put it on the corner of the mizbeach. Or min hayisoid, or when he's spraying the blood, the shirayim, and yemach spritz it in the bottom of the begadim. Ain't toin kibbutz. He doesn't need a wash. Ha min haroi, but from the dam that's roi to put on the keren toin kibbutz. Those dam that you needed to spray on the mizbeach, and that spritzed on you. Any dam that had to do with the avodah and it sprayed on you, then you had to first. If it was like shirayim or shchita, right, nothing. Shchita he doesn't consider as part of the avodah there. So therefore, ain't ton kibbutz. I don't know if he says that. The fetish adam even yashim adam bekli sharet. If it was before he received the dam in the bekli sharet, he says no chiyuv. Why? Because it says anything that has to do, anything that had to do with the spraying of the blood, anything that was connected, and that's sprayed on him, that's where it becomes possible. So the time according to you, min hayisad einay toin kibbutz, from the yisad of the mizbeach, you shouldn't need to wash. Hamin haroyula yisad toin kibbutz, and we said from the Shiyari Adam, after the 4 matanos were given on the kronis of the Beged, you said you do need kibbutz. How could it be? L'chein it says you learn out ashayiza, anything that's roi still to throw the blood, and that makes you dirty. See, that's where you have to have kibbutz. Prat lezeh. Prat this case of shirayim, the blood is already sprayed. Shekva uza. So you wonder how many? Who's this Mishnah going to? According to Rabbi Nechemia. If not, we learned the Mishnah, Rabbi Nechemia Ima, Shiyari Adam, Sheikrim Bachutz Chayev, that somebody who throws the Shiyari Adam Chatos on the Mizbeach outside of the Beis Hamikdash, he's Chayev for being Milo Kachim Bachutz. So Rabbi Nechemia holds that the Zrika of Shiyari Adam Bachutz is like is considered regular dam of the carbon that you use to spray on the Mizbeach. So according to Nehemiah, it has the same level of kedusha as the regular spraying of the dam. That's who the Mishnah is going according to, and that's why it's going to be. That's why you're going to need kibbutz if it's sprayed from the Shiyari Adam, because he says that the Shiyari Adam has the same level of kedusha as the blood that was used for the matanis for the mizbeach.